30-year-old guy, my older brother attended university and afterwards worked as an accountant in the city. I'm a 27-year-old man who began working for my dad as a plumber when I was 15 years old. I attended college to earn my gas and plumbing certifications. My brother returned from the city about the time I started and began working in accounting for my 55-year-old father. Because of asbestosis, my dad hasn't been healthy for the past 4 years. The family has been through a great deal, and although he is growing worse, he is still living. I have been in charge of the company for the past 2 years. Due to our growth, we currently have 50 vans in our fleet, each of which has a trained driver and a trainee. Although the epidemic was difficult at first, we have recovered. Every Friday, my dad and I still work on tools for a full day before coming back to my house for some beer. I work every day to operate the business, so Friday is the only day I'm not on tools these days. However, he informed the family last month that he was leaving the company due to health reasons and that he wanted to spend more time with my mother. My brother would then take over the company and I would relinquish my role as acting CEO. I was offended by this. I've worked for the company for 12 years. My dad and I were the only ones there at first. My brother claimed it was not worth his time and that he had never intended to work in the industry. He's now in charge and I've been relegated to a $20,000 a year job as a heating engineer. He has no idea what we do or how to accomplish it at all. My dad informed me that my brother deserved it because of everything that he has accomplished, that he went to college, and that he had a family, whereas I don't. Many employees have expressed their displeasure with the choice and have promised to follow me wherever I go. I informed my father that I would quit and launch my own company, if that was how he felt. I've told my brother and father to never get in touch with me and haven't spoken to them since. My family has been sending me dozens of messages and calls over the past month saying harsh things and accusing me of being unappreciative of what I have. And I am too. Edit. I want to say thank you to everyone for your kind words. There's so many to reply to, and I will do my best to thank you all. To hear my father tell me in his own way that he doesn't think I'm good enough was hard, and for my family to take his side over mine was even harder. In the morning, I will contact the large clients I've worked with over the last 6 years. I know we had some sites postponed due to the big money, and we'll try to take them over. I have 20 of my colleagues wishing to come work for me. I've saved nearly all of my money I have earned over the last 12 years, so I think I have enough to get myself on my feet. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not Duel. I am so sorry. Hopefully your new business is successful. Thanks, but feel bad for taking business away from family. You shouldn't. They took the business away from family. Not just from you, but from all the loyal employees who don't want to work with an inexperienced CEO, not to haul at all. At least your father could have split the business 50-50, brother in charge of accounting side, you in charge of production. I would make that offer back. If father refuses, I would cut contact and block relatives. I would go start my own business and never look back. Brother turned his back on family business while you worked your butt off to build it. To be honest, that's what I thought was going to happen. And I was happy when my brother came back to be one big family company. I talked to my father, but my brother has always been the golden child. Not Dell at all. Not only did you get screwed out of a business that should have at least been split between you, you got a huge pay cut to go with it. The fact that your father allowed that to happen shows how he feels about you versus your brother. I am sorry, but I hope you run your brother out of business, thank you. The hardest part is that my brother signed off on a pay cut. I was still on a very good wage, but that was the last dagger to the heart. I always thought my father would split the business between us, not leave me sidelined after everything I did for it. Now for the first update, I want to inform everyone that I'm not starting a business to destroy my brother, as much as I want to. I've spent almost 13 years building it, and I don't want to see anyone out of a job or for the business to die. It's about 5 a.m. in England. You have all helped me so much. Now I'll be going over to talk to my father about 8 a.m. and take him out for breakfast to talk. I'm not sure if I will get a proper answer from him, but I love my family and want my future kids to know them. I will update after the events of later today. Second update. As I said in one of the comments, I believe my family found my post, and they did. This morning when I arrived at my parents' house, my mom opened the door and looked like she had been crying a lot. My dad came over to talk to me and we went out for breakfast. He didn't say a word on the way there. When we arrived, we went on the way back. He asked if we could pull over and talk. I can honestly say this was the first time I saw my dad cry. I asked why he did this to me. He said he didn't know. I kept pushing, and he finally told me he owed it to my brother for not being there for him as much as me when we were growing up, and there were times my brother needed him. But we were working. I couldn't believe it. After 12 years of hard work, that was his reasoning. I told my father I had spent half my life working to do everything for the business, and how throwing me to the side just because the son came back hurts me more than I could explain. He told me as they had been shown the post I put up. To my surprise, he wasn't mad, but he seemed remorseful. He told me my mother has been in pieces after reading the comments about how bad she treated me and thinks I will never talk to them again. My dad told me after reading it all he realized he should have split the business between us, as it will need both of us to keep progressing, and apologized to me for never telling me how proud he was of everything I had done. And though I know how proud he was, my brother has full control, and my father has no say anymore, and my brother would never go 50-50. He told me he wants me to go back, as my brother will need me. I told him that's not my problem anymore after he demoted me and cut my pay. I tried to make it work for 3 weeks, but my brother wouldn't listen, didn't believe I know what I was talking about, and told him he knows how to run a business, so I left. Why work my butt off there when I could do the same work and make more money for myself? My dad broke down, said that he had destroyed a family, and should never have done what he did. I don't understand why it took this long to realize I was a valuable piece in the company. Third update. As I said, I have had a couple of Zoom calls with some clients today, and they have gone very well. I have been informed that they will all be sending signed proposal letters for the upcoming work. Luckily, the start dates don't clash. That was one of the main things I was worried about. 3 of my colleagues have now left the business and have spoken to my dad, informing him about why they left and that they will be coming to work with me of their own choice. To hear them tell me this meant a lot. They all have between 5 to 10 years more experience in the industry. At the moment, we have all we need to start a new business with the 3 vans I own and tools I have built up over the years. I'm looking forward to the new venture in my life and can't wait to share this with my children when I have them. Then I received a call from my father asking me to come over for dinner. I wasn't sure at first, but thought it was probably a step in the right direction. Upon arrival, my whole family was there. I went in, and the atmosphere dropped. My mom wouldn't look at me, and my brother just sat there acting as if I didn't exist. My dad came to ask me and my brother to come into his office. He started to ask when I was going to return to the company, as they need me in early Monday morning. I could not even believe what I was hearing. I told them both I'm not coming back. I've started my own business, and what does he mean, we? You gave the business to him. My brother started to lose his temper, telling me if I cared about the company, why would I leave? I had some very choice words before telling him that I have always cared for the company and spent 12 years of my life working to make it successful, like him, who swans in and takes all the glory, and that I will not sit there and be treated like that. I told my brother to buzz off so I could talk to Dad. I asked what was this morning all about, telling me sorry, but then expects me to go running back. He couldn't even look me in the eye, so I left, said goodbye to my cousin, nieces, and nephew, and walked out. I've been riding for about 3 hours on and off, coming back on here to talk to people. I just want to say thank you to everyone for the personal messages, comments, rewards, and all the kind words and encouragement. I'll try to message everyone, but I'm exhausted and will most likely fall asleep. Fourth update. It's been a while. I've had a lot going on in the last couple of weeks, so I'll try to explain the most I can. So, the new business is going very well. We have a lot of work coming in and making good money. At the end of the year, I will be looking at expanding, so very happy with that. Me and my fiancée are very happy. She's very busy planning the wedding of her dreams. She wants me to wear a suit, but tough. Luck, I'll be in my kilt. I couldn't be happier than I am right now, waking up to her every day. She's there for me, no matter what. Now, my family, my father and brother still refuse to talk to me and have told me they will not be attending the wedding, even though they haven't been invited. My mother has called my fiancé but hasn't said much, only to ask about wedding stuff and will not talk to me. My fiancé's family have been amazing. My soon-to-be in-laws have been helping with the wedding and everything else, and I'm extremely thankful for everything they have done for us. My other family have now backed off and apologized and want to make amends for everything that was said. Myself and my fiancée are set to have our wedding in November. We sat down together and have decided to try to have children after we are married. We are both excited to be parents. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not splitting the control of my business to my children equally? Hi, 65-year-old electrician from Germany here. I want to spend the rest of my life traveling and pampering our grandchildren with my 65-year-old wife. I had grown a modest company to employ 23 people. Alexander, my 36-year-old son, will take over. I'm also proud of my 2 daughters. Laura, 34, who studied biochemistry and earned a master's degree, and Marie, 30, who went on to teach maths and sports in middle schools. I recently discussed my strategy with the family get-together. Although Marie accused me of showing partiality, Laura gave her full consent. That is untrue. Though I adore each of my kids equally, my son chose to use my advertisement as training material after he graduated. Every T had the feel of a high school. We collaborated for about 17 years, during which time he also obtained a master's degree in electrical engineering. He can manage our company well, and our staff members have faith in him. These are the things I mentioned to my daughter, but she stated I was always closer to my son than to my girls. Well, I guess that's kind of true, but if I work with my son all day, how can it not be possible? In addition, he works with me as my right hand. Alexander, my wife, and Laura signed with me. Therefore, I need an objective viewpoint on this. Is that me, Reddit, the a-hole? Edit. In addition, a lot of you asked, so here are some answers. Alexander will take over as the business's owner. I will no longer be involved in any way. When he first started working with me, there were only 6 of us. When he obtained his master's license, he trained 7 apprentice employees. We Germans say he was passionate about it and he sacrificed a lot. My daughters were offered the opportunity to work with me and earned many school holidays on my side. However, after they graduated, you are awarding your business as an electrician to the employee who has been there for 17 years. Your staff members would already be grateful. What if you gave command to someone who is just related but has no prior experience? Reminds me like that ETA from a few weeks ago, in which the father wrecked a family by giving the company to someone he didn't work with. Rewarding effort is warranted, not in my opinion. Without a doubt, your kid has contributed time and effort to the company and helped you make it successful. Additionally, every one of your arguments is valid. As your son is best suited to maintain the company's success, you're also attempting to secure the long-term future of the employees and their families by passing the firm to him. It's also your money and business, so you have the freedom to leave it to whoever you choose. Wishing you luck, not Dell. German law may differ in the final section. Opie should consult a lawyer, as there may be expenses associated with compensating his other children when he transfers the firm to a single child. It's just common sense business. Marie most likely lacks a lot of business management or industry experience. Your son has worked with you for 17 years, thus he is the most experienced and knowledgeable. Marie seems to be more resentful of Alexander's strong relationship with you than she is of the business transfer. Marie, like both of them, had the option to become an electrician, skipped 1 messages. Marie and both of them had the option of becoming electricians. The last story is basically what the title says. Am I the a-hole for not splitting my inheritance so my cousins and I can have an equal amount? When I, 20 female, was 3 years old, my paternal granny passed away. My cousins Olivia, 20 years old, and Connor, 24 years old, were 4 and 7 years old, respectively. My grandma bequeathed all of her money to us grandchildren in her will. She clearly had no idea how many kids my dad and uncle would wind up with, so her will stipulated that half of her estate would go to my uncle's kids, and the other half would go to my dad's kids. Since I'm the only child, I'm not required to share the money with my siblings. The money becomes available to us on our 21st birthday. Connor has therefore already had his. My birthday is in 7 months, and Olivia's is next month. Olivia, Connor, and my uncle believe it's unjust that I make more money than they do. They urge my parents to divide my portion of the money so that we would each receive 33% when I was 17 and Connor was 21. My parents refused, arguing that I should be the only one to determine what to do with the money once I have access to it, and that it wasn't their money. Since then, they have discussed it a few times a year, but as Olivia's birthday approaches, they are discussing it more frequently. They have even enlisted the help of our relatives to pester me with SMS and emails over it. They claim that because I don't divide the money equally with them, I'm being selfish, and that it's unjust that I receive more money. They also like to bring up the fact that I was raised with more material goods, because I am an only child and my parents make more money than their parents did, both of which I acknowledge are partially true. I participated in a lot of extracurricular activities, attended a private school, and took at least one annual vacation overseas. In addition, I didn't receive everything I requested as a child, and when I was 17, my parents wouldn't purchase me a car. Their parents bought them a car, but I had to buy mine myself. Additionally, my dad's aunt incessantly reminded my uncle that my dad was the best child, which has left my uncle resentful and using my increased income to back up that belief. It's my money, so I don't want to divide it. It's not my fault that my parents only had me. The money was given to my dad's kids. My parents also taught me how to handle money, so I intend to invest the most of my grandmother's money, use some for travel after college before beginning a job, and take my friends and I on a weekend trip to New York for my 21st birthday. Thus, it's not as though I intend to blow it all at once. Moreover, Olivia and Connor still have a sizable portion of the money each. It's more money than most people have access to in their early 20s, and more than most people inherit. In addition, for the past 3 years, Connor has spent the majority of his money on automobiles, travel, and parties. Therefore, I fail to understand why I should have to give up some of my inheritance to make up for his squandering the most of it. Do I look like an a-hole? Edit. In response to messages I've received, I thought I'd let everyone know that my grandmother did not leave my dad and uncle out. She left the grandchildren the entire amount of money in her various bank accounts, as well as any property, jewelry, art collection, investment portfolio, etc. Not Deho. I've been asked how much money there is total. I'm not comfortable disclosing the precise amount, but it's safe to say that even the 25% share is a fraction of 1 million. Your cousin and uncle are acting conceited. Nobody has the right to contest how your grandma split her possessions. You're doing as she says. Should you have had 4 siblings, what might have happened? Sincerely, do you think they would divide their earnings? No, Deo Hall. Not at all unjust. Justly, your grandmother divided it among her children's offspring. You have no legal claim to my inheritance. Respond to their accusations that you're being selfish by saying you're being greedy. They can go make more money if that's what they desire. Many people never get an inheritance of any type in their lifetime. Here, you are not required to defend yourself. You're carrying out your grandmother's instructions precisely as stated in her will. Anyone who finds it problematic is free to take their grievances to their grave. No, Deo Hall. While fair, the circumstances are not equal. By allocating the descendants of her 2 sons equally to each side, your grandmother demonstrated great fairness. For apparent reasons, the cousins' circumstances are unequal. If the roles were reversed, they wouldn't give you an extra dime, so don't give them any money. This was indeed done by my grand. She gave my uncles the majority of her estate, but she included a stipulation stating that if they passed away, the money would instead go to their children. While one uncle had 2 children, the other just had 1. It would have been 25-50 if one of my uncles had passed away. Though in reality they are only entitled to their half of the pot. The children are viewing it as though they are entitled to the whole pot.